Great. Well, thanks everyone for joining this webinar today. So we're introducing our new edition reader. So just going to run through a quick agenda. So we'll kick off with some introductions. We'll talk about some of the actual product updates that we've done, look at some live market examples, and I think it's really key to then focus on some of those key benefits, to look at the roadmap, and then we'll have some time for some questions. So a bit of housekeeping there. This session will be recorded. We hope to run for 35 minutes. You can ask questions. I think there's a Q&A tab in the bottom navigation of the Zoom webinar. So we'll try and answer as many questions as possible within the time limit we've got. So first off, just quick introductions. I'm Ross Murphy. I'm the CEO of PageSuite. And Josh, Simon, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, hi, I'm Simon Fry. I'm the Chief Product Officer at PageSuite. So I look after the design and development of products.
Hi, and I'm Josh Potterton. I'm one of the staff engineers at PageSuite and also one of the sort of dev leads on our web reader products.
Great. So just to kick off, I thought we'd just sort of frame, why we're having this webinar, why PageSuite launching a new reader. This product really has a really high engagement, high levels of engagement through all the audiences that use it, and we really see it as a key part of that digital transformation piece that every publisher seems to be going through. So we need to provide a technology and a back end that allows that flexibility. So whether it's substituting, a web version product on non-print days, or some publishers actually stopping print altogether and producing completely responsive or feed edition publications, we need to have a product that supports that. So this highly engaged audience, they're not traditionally website users. So it's really important that we feel it's really important we have a focus on that. And one of the key things that we've done since we last spoke to you was that we have developed a product that does allow HTML and PDF pages we can have both those outputs within the product and combined. So it really kind of extends the number of use cases, the possibility of engaging with that audience, and making it really easy to publish in the current industry environment.
Yeah, I think that the idea of a completable reading experience, that digital edition that you can pick up and start and then finish and put down, is still really strong in the market and still a very, very highly valued part of any kind of publisher subscription strategy. In terms of a product update, so we talked about the new reader when we did our webinar in February, I think, in terms of it coming up. We launched at the end of Q1 in this year. Since then, we've been doing a lot of work to link it up with a new publish service that we have that we're going to talk a little bit about during the webinar, and really progressing the PDF replica side of that in terms of the reader functionality. So initially, we launched this to support responsive editions predominantly, and now we've been building out the feature set to replace our old PDF replica reader so that you can move your editions onto this reader more seamlessly. And in doing that, making performance enhancements in terms of how we render PDFs and developing new page and article templates to make it a more interesting reading experience for consumers. So the key benefits, really, the new publish service, which we'll talk about, and the speed of that and how easy it is to make changes to your editions. We'll talk about the improved UI and the changes we've made there. As Ross said, the new reader supports both HTML and PDF pages, which makes it a lot more flexible in terms of adding interactive puzzles into your PDF editions or adding video advertising into those PDF editions, and then vice versa if you do feed-based editions, adding PDF pages into those as well. Josh is going to talk you through how the new analytics works on the new product, and then we'll show you some examples of the advertising integrations that we've done so far and what we have planned.
Great, thanks, Simon. So just the back end kind of it, we're calling it the publish service. What is that exactly? And the main key point is that now with the new product, we have one rendering engine across both web and mobile. And kind of the key point of difference is the current solution that majority of our customers are on is a multi-step processing process that we have to go through. So we have to process for web, we do run some distilling processes, some tiling processes, and then we have separate iOS and separate Android automations that push that content out. We now have the opportunity to just have one rendering engine. And what does that mean? It means that we can publish pages in seconds and editions in minutes. We can, when we update content now, we can see those channels almost all update in real time, which is a big move forward. And going back to, having a product that supports publishers when print deadlines are moving earlier and there's other pressures to get late content out to this audience, then we feel that's a real key part. So something we're really looking forward to talking about today. We're also updating the automation side. We're trying to have a more consistent method of running our automations, building a tool set, and we hope towards the end of this year and the end or early next year that there'll be even a UI that we can expose to our customers so that you can update the automations yourself rather than having to put tickets through PageSuite and have some sort of lengthy response time potentially. So that's a real benefit there. And there's enhanced security. Some of our clients are already on SFTP, but pushing clients onto SFTP, it's more scalable on AWS, higher security. And we've also got in kind of different roles and access levels within the portal. So within your organization, you can control that level of access.
So I've got a quick video here that shows this is the new reader and pages within the reader. So you can see the front page there and then the following pages of this edition. And this is just show you how easy it is to change those pages and update them. Here's the pages in the portal. So there's a one-to-one relationship between the pages that you see in the portal and the pages that you see on the reader. So to change that page, you just go into edit this front page, pick a different PDF that you want to upload as a new front page. When you save that, that will save an update in the portal so you can see that the correct page is there and go back to the edition and make sure that the page order is correct. And that's what you'd expect it to see. And then republish that edition. So this will then kick off the publish service that we talked about. So this will go and process that new front page PDF, check through the rest of the edition and make sure there's no other changes. And then as soon as that's ready to go, that process will kick out and you'll be able to go back to the reader here and refresh the page and you'll see the updated PDF page in there. So you can see how quick it is now for us to make updates to editions and replace pages where necessary.
Yeah, and I think it's, pages in seconds and editions in 4 or 5 minutes is where we are.
Yeah, obviously, depending on the number of pages you're changing and the number of pages we need to process is going to take a little bit longer. Weekend editions might take, as Ross says, like 4 or 5 minutes or more. But in terms of making single updates to pages, because the publish service deals with it page at a time, and it's the same rendering engine across the web and the apps. It means we can do all of that so much quicker than before and without any interruption to the service for the end user. In terms of the improved UI, so what have we been doing there? So we've tried to bring the presentation in line with what we've got in the apps and the SDK, so that if you've got a solution across all of our products, then there's consistency there for your end users. We've moved in the web reader, the navigation to the bottom, in common with a lot of web apps now where the navigation or the main navigation tends to run along the bottom of the page. It's also really useful for supporting landscape reading. So we see a lot of end users using touchscreen devices and landscape orientation. So then the navigation is much easier to deal with at the bottom of the screen. We changed our iconography so that it's all material design, again, another web standard. And we've changed some of the UI to try and give easier access to pages and sections, more prominence to things like bookmarking. We've also enabled edition settings both at a publication level and at a user level. So you as the publisher can set how that edition is going to appear initially, but then the end user can change those settings themselves. And I'll show you how that works in a second.
So Josh, just quickly, I think the new technology is it in terms of the new reader. What's the language
Yeah,
now
so
that you've written that
we've
in?
transitioned to use Next.js. So some of the bits you'll see throughout this sort of reflect that, sort of how we can get some of the metadata in and stuff, which we'll expand on later. But we can obviously keep up to date with the latest technologies and such by using that.
Great, thanks.
So this is the archive page that is part of the new reader. So this is an opportunity for you to display not just kind of main edition content, but any supplements or magazines that you might have. So you can see here with the Sydney Morning Herald, they've got a large number of magazines and supplements that they include with that edition, either on the weekend or during the week. And it just gives them an opportunity to highlight that content to end users. It's not essential that you have an archive page. If you want to load into the edition or the latest edition of your publication each time so that the initial view is this kind of view that the user sees, then we can set that up as well. So the archive page is kind of an option in terms of the configuration. You can see here this edition loads up in double page mode and fits the height of the page, so you can see the whole edition in the page. The edition settings are set at a publication level, as I said, but then you can change them at a user level as well. So if you want to change that to fit to width, you'll see that then the edition fills out the width of the screen and you can scroll to see the bottom. You can toggle off double page in landscape so that you just see a single page view instead of a double page view. And then you can also manage a persistent zoom. So this is based on a lot of user feedback that we had with the previous reader, where some people expected your zoom setting to be set throughout the edition once it was done, and some people wanted it to revert to the zoom setting before. So if you zoom in, when you've got persistent zoom on, it keeps that zoom level, and when you move to the next page, it's still got the same zoom level, and you go through the whole edition at the same zoom level, or you can turn that off. And then when you move to the next page, it will reset to fit the whole page in there. And just means that you as a publisher can set that initially with the way that you want the publication to appear, but then the end user has a bit of ability to customize it. You know, maybe they need to see things at a higher resolution and they want to zoom in all the time.
Yeah, Simon, we've put quite a lot of focus, haven't we, on sort of allowing the user to really personalize it for their reading needs or their experience.
Yeah, and the aim behind that is to try and kind of cut down the noise that you might get as a publisher about the reader not behaving the way that a user expects. By putting a lot more of the control in the hands of the end user, means that they can set it up the way they want it to be set up, and then they can read in the way that they would prefer. So going along the bottom menu here, we've got contents ribbon. So this loads all the pages that exist within the edition and also the sections. And you can jump to different pages from here. There's the editions ribbon here, which shows you the edition that you're reading now and all archive of previous editions for that publication. If you jump to a different one, the now reading icon would tell you you're now reading that Tuesday edition rather than this one. And then we've put more prominence in terms of bookmarking. So all of the articles that you bookmarked across different editions will be available in this My Articles tab down here. And we talked a little bit about zoom. So obviously you can double click to get the zoom to fully come out or back in again. You can also do a more granular zoom using this slider down here. You can move from single page to double page at this page level. So if you prefer to read the edition in single page mode, but then you notice a double page spread and you want to see what that looks like, you can toggle that off down here. You can print from here. You can download either current page or the full edition. And then you can share as well via all of the usual sharing services, and also copying a link if you want to copy and paste that link into another service. The other thing I should mention is that the reader itself is responsive. So as you move your screen size down, if we go down to a mobile view, you'll see it resets the navigation and moves some of that up to the top and resets the page accordingly. So this will work on any screen size from large desktop devices down to smaller mobile devices. Also in the edition settings view, we can add help screens. So you can add any number of help screens here to take the user through kind of an onboarding process so they can see how this works. All the content of this is kind of up to you as a publisher. You can have as many of these as you feel is necessary. You can include a video helper if you want in here as well. So that helps with onboarding customers. And then within the settings menu, you can add obviously links to customer service, things like that. But also if you've got links to other products or other services, this is an expandable list. So you can use it as almost like an overflow menu where you need to. We have a number of different article templates. So we take a look at this. We've got a multi-column article template in here for this publication. And then skip to another edition here. You see that we've also support this kind of single column scrolling article template. This has a full page image gallery. We've got another scrolling article template here, similar to this one, but with a color block here. So you can match a color to, this is actually picking up the section color of the news. So if that was blue, this would be blue. Just allows a bit of variation as you go through the edition. And then the other article template we're working on now is one that will be familiar to you if you're familiar with our PWA product. We used to have this in there, where a full page article template, but it retains the thumbnail of the PDF. So it just allows you as a user to follow where you are within the printed paper as you navigate through the edition at an article page view. So here you can see it follows you through the edition. Each of these articles is highlighted. If you go and click on here, it will take you back to the page that you're on. So it just allows a bit more continuity between the article level and the page level.
I think as well, it's important to point out the we're talking about the web here, but just to reiterate the fact that these are available within our own PageRead apps and also the SDK. We've got consistent design flowing through there. So again, that one rendering engine, all the things that we're going to show you today are all available in those products as well.
Yes, and I should have mentioned the article templates as well are responsive. So as you move the screen size down to a mobile view, even the column template will then reorder the content to stack it so that it's responsive on mobile devices as well as desktop. We talked a bit about this at the start, but PDF and HTML pages are supported, so you can output a PDF replica edition or a responsive HTML edition. We can include HTML pages like interactive puzzles, polls, graphics, and add those to the PDF replica edition. We can support video in that full page image gallery view. And to kind of reverse the second point, we can add PDF pages to responsive HTML editions if you have things like puzzles that you want to include as flat pages or weather or TV listings. So if I just show you the Kansas City store, this is a responsive HTML edition. So you'll see that as we move the page around and down to a mobile view, reformats the page content responsively here. And then if I also show you where they've got PDF pages. So there's a whole bunch of PDF pages here that are included because they include that printed edition of the paper as well. And you can go from PDF pages here into interactive puzzles. So these are responsive HTML pages, interactive puzzles, and you can include these in just in the back of a PDF replica edition if you want to include puzzles in interactive puzzles just to increase engagement within that PDF product.
And I think it's for those who might be new to PageSuite, just want to sort of make it clear about we can have a PDF edition or a feed-based edition. We're showing you some responsive feed-based editions here and previously. So this is less about implementation, this webinar, but for those that are interested, we can certainly talk to you afterwards about the implementation of those feed-based products.
This is a Spanish language title and just obviously shows the ability we have to produce a product in different languages. And this shows here video within the edition. So the video loads and plays within the full page image gallery, and you can control that here. And then see the other imagery that exists for that given article. So another advantage of us being able to mix and match HTML pages with PDF pages.
And I think for us, the lines are becoming blurred between PDF and feed-based content. We're working with publishers and we're trying to build products that aren't just designed for one format or the other. So I think that's coming across, hopefully.
Yeah. And Josh now going to take us through how the analytics works with the new product.
Thanks, Simon. So yeah, obviously in analytics in our past implementations, we've obviously done quite a lot of events and such before, but we've had to do things like do a lot of integrations, a lot of configuration to get the format right, and possibly even some custom implementations at times. And we've sort of taken a different approach to start this product off with. And what we're doing is we're publishing events from our reader directly into the window. So you have the ability to listen to those and interact with them and do what you like, essentially. So the benefit of this obviously being you'll all have full control over that event data, what you want to track, which is useful to you, and send that onto pretty much any analytics service provider you can think of. So, Google Analytics, Adobe, Mava, ComScore, just to name some. You can really sort of be quite flexible with what you want to do with that. And you can do that by either writing your own JavaScript and hosting that if you have the ability to do so. We can inject that to the head of the page, or you can use a solution such as Google Tag Manager, which we've got plugged into this web reader already, where that can also either listen to the window events or again inject your own JavaScript. And you can really sort of take this and think outside of the box with it. You can use it for things outside of analytics. So for example, when a page view or an article view is triggered from our reader, you could listen to that, look at the event data. So you could look at things like such the headlines and maybe even the section, and decide to apply that to advert targeting, for example. So if the user hits a article in the sports section, you could apply a key value pair of targeting on an advert slot, say it's in the sports section, and you're more likely to get creative that a user is going to see. It's contextual, it relates to the article they're reading, and more likely to get a click through. And obviously that's only good for you guys, more revenue, more click throughs. So it's really quite a powerful and flexible solution we're going for here, and giving you guys the freedom. You won't need to, if you need a change, you can just do it yourselves and manage it. You don't need to really wait on us at all. You can just feel the benefit of having your own control.
Yeah, I think the benefit for us as well, we're moving away from kind of client-specific configurations for analytics. And that means that when we go to update and add new features to the product and add new events to support those features, that you'll all get them automatically rather than having to wait for us to update a client-specific configuration or do some work on that side. So it should be more flexible for us and also more beneficial for you.
Exactly that. And we'll look to sort of grow that implementation, as Simon says, with new features. That means new events, and you can really keep on top of things and extend that that analytics suite that you have.
So in terms of advertising, so what have we got now in the product? So we've integrated ad serving via Google Ad Manager and also support for header bidding integration. So you have a header bidding partner, integrating that to increase the ad rates that you're getting. Crucially, each page now in the new setup has a unique URL. So where previously we couldn't give a unique URL for certain pages or article types because we've got the full page article now. Every single page is unique. It has a unique URL, and we can pass a unique set of metadata for that page through analytics, and then obviously potentially onto advertising. We've built in support for print advertising creative. So if you want to upload JPEGs or PDFs of print creative, we can take that into the system and then distribute it into sections. I'll show you an example of that in a moment. And we've also been building out bespoke ad positions, so templates for video advertising that you could then insert at a page level, either as part of a PDF replica edition or as part of a responsive edition. So just to demonstrate some of that print advertising creative and how that gets included. So the Times in the UK has the Times Classic app, which is kind of a responsive edition of the print newspaper content. But obviously, because it's not a PDF replica, it doesn't include the advertising that exists within the printed edition. So what they do is they upload that print creative to our backend system, and then we distribute it within the articles. So in here, you'll see this Specsavers ad, which is, I think, probably a half-page ad that runs in print within the news section. So we put that into one of the news articles. And then again, here we've got another, I think, half-page advert for British Airways that's appearing again in the news articles. And they also upload some full-page adverts as well. So you can see that we pick these up and then we distribute them within that news section. And how that works in the back end is that within their account, they have an advert manager module, which they create advert sets in. They can set those advert sets to run for any kind of date range. And they mostly do it on a daily basis, but you could run it for a week or a month. Certain advertisers will all, so those adverts that are set to run across that date range will get picked up and distributed in the edition. When they upload the ads, they tell us where they need to go. So which section they need to go in or before a section. And then the edition picks that up as part of the published service and then distributes those adverts within the article pages. Sorry. So what have we done in terms of ad serving and header bidding? So we've got Google Ad Manager integration for standard ad positions around the reader. We've got a flexible ad position depending on the ad map and the screen size. As you move the reader screen size up and down, we can display different adverts in there. And we can support that same ad map across the article view as well. And we can integrate header bidding for those partners too. So some examples of those programmatic ads here. So we've got a banner at the bottom here. We've got a double MPU at the side. And here we've got ads running down either side of the edition. And then print ad insertion. This is what we were just talking about with the Times and showed an example of. So we can do this by manually uploading those ads, or we can pull in a third-party integration. If you have a third party that distributes print ads, we can take those ad creative from that third party and use that instead. And that creative gets picked up at creation and then distributed through the pages as we've seen. And the other thing that we're doing with advertising is bespoke ad formats. So handling things like a video front cover, as I mentioned, through an extension of the system that we saw at the Times are using. You can upload video ad creative and use the templates that we've created to show video ads or show like wraps and things like that. And Ross is going to show you some examples of that now.
Great, thanks, Simon. Right, so you should be seeing the landing page of the Sydney Morning Herald again. So I'm just going to run through some of those examples. I'll kick off first with the kind of static front cover or digital wrap. So this is actually, you can see this page here. It's got the masthead and that's actually a piece of advertising copy Interestingly enough, in our back end, we can actually create these pages. So it kind of gives ad teams more flexibility. So they can provide the image of the masthead and the ad creative, and the system can create this page template and create this digital wrap. You'll see like the inside front cover is a PDF upload here to create that kind of create the wrap. But this would also be the same implementation if you had the page 0 ad, or I guess inserting a PDF page in other areas of the edition. So I'll show you a quick other example of that one. I think it's quite interesting. So this is a Harvey Norman ad, retail in Australia. Again, you can see this is the same platform, different masthead, different image, and the different ad creatives provided there. So lots of flexibility there, maybe outside of the normal page production. And I think this is really important because the programmatic ads, of course, vitally important because that's straightforward, and you have existing inventory that you want to serve. But I think these kind of, I guess, bespoke ad placements and some of those print ad things that Simon was talking about is more supporting that digital transformation process that our customers are going through. So to continue with that, we can also look at other video kind of options as well. So in this edition here, when it loads, we're going to see the inside front cover video. So the normal front page of the edition. And then when you go to the next page, seamlessly, you get like a double page, a really smooth and slick video presentation. So real high, high visibility on that one. And if you move away from that, we can see another example of a PDF page, and we go straight into the PDF edition. Now we can show these campaigns and set up these campaigns within responsive feed editions as well. But I think everyone will agree it's a real smooth implementation. And compared to the existing solutions that we have, I think it's a definite improvement. And we've got more options as well. So other options that we have, just carry on with that visibility to get the right edition, would be that you get a video that launches on first load. So obviously probably the biggest amount of eyeballs you're going to get on an edition. But again, it's supporting the that ad revenue, particularly part of digital transformation. If you're dropping print days or doing other things with your editions, I think it's really important you have these kind of solutions. And again, it just seamlessly scrolls away. So the user, I think you get sometimes less kind of negative feedback with solutions that you can just swipe away, move away, versus the programmatic ads. So I'm going to hand back to you, Simon. But interestingly enough, we're not going to show it today, but there is a back end that supports that sets up these campaigns. So you can run this ad content in this implementation that I've just shown you. You can set it up for a day, a week, and all control that from the back end, and it will serve it up into the correct edition.
Yeah, I think what's key about that really is the fact that we now support HTML and PDF through the same reader. We wouldn't have been able to do that kind of video advertising implementation within the existing reader because we can't support displaying both types of pages. So it's a real advantage of one of the things that we're doing with the new reader. But what we're doing next in terms of advertising, so we're extending the advertising integration of ad serve solutions, so supporting more ad positions in the article level. So if you've got a multi-column article, or we can serve ads in between the columns, or we can serve ads in between paragraphs in those scrolling article types to just increase the number of advertising opportunities you have there. And we're introducing a new ad position on the archive page above the kind of main edition. So you can use that either as a sponsor position or as another ad serve position in there. And both of those will support header bidding integrations as well.
And just while we're on that, I don't know, did we mention the updating URL for every article and every page?
I think I did, but it's worth bringing again. Yeah,
I might have missed that, but that's vitally important. I know some of you might be on the webinar who have asked us for the request for that, so explore more of those contextual opportunities. But that's now available within the article as well.
Yeah, so every single page has a unique URL and unique set of metadata. So both for analytics and for advertising, we can send all of the data that you need to know about the page that the user's on. So try and serve contextual advertising through that route. Just to recap in terms of the configuration options, so obviously we've got lots of different article templates. There are 4 standard ones. We can create custom templates for you as well. What that allows you to do, though, is not just have a single article template through the whole edition. Because of the way the publish service splits up editions into sections, you can have different article templates at different sections. So if you want to use a column one for news and then a scrolling template for business or opinion, you can mix and match those up across your edition to give a bit more variety through the reading experience. The archive page, as we showed with the Sydney Morning Herald, so you can load into that archive page if you've got lots of content you want to display, or if you just want to load into the latest edition, and each time we can support that as well. Again, that's a configuration option. Edition settings we talked quite a bit about. Advertising, different ad maps for different screen sizes and for different publications as well. And obviously integration of ad sets if you want to do bespoke advertising or print advertising served into the editions. Help screens we talked about, and then the settings link to any number of external links we can support through that kind of overflow menu, which is an advantage to the new reader versus the old.
And something else worth mentioning, Simon, on the settings menu, when you open that up, you now get the reader version number of our release in the bottom that some of you might have noticed earlier on. So, when we obviously communicate about product updates and what might be coming in a certain version number, you can obviously now visually see what reader you're using, so you can see the progress of the product as it goes, through the different development phases.
Yeah, this is a really good point, Josh. We've done lots of work on the reader over the past 6 months and before we launched as well, and we're continuing to evolve the product in terms of features and functionality. And each time we do a version release, you'll be able to see that version release number within the settings menu. But each release goes straight out to all of our clients, so you don't need to do a specific update to get onto the latest version of the new product once you've made that migration. In terms of next steps, if you're interested in migrating to the new reader, then speak obviously to your PageStreet account manager about how to start planning that out. There might be PDF automation changes that we need to make in terms of setting you up to run with a new publish service and get you set up in the portal so that you can do things like manage your editions, change pages, that kind of thing. There will be configuration work to set up the reader for the ads, the templates, how you want the initial editions to load, that kind of thing. And then obviously there's launch planning, and we recommend like communicating early to users, potentially even running beta testing if you've got that as a possibility, to minimize the noise you get in terms of user feedback. We know the e-edition or the e-paper reader audience tends to be older and quite resistant to change. So trying to communicate early and get that feedback early, I think, is really key. Just to point out, we've been talking obviously almost exclusively about the web version, but the new reader is supported within the apps as well. So this is one of our apps for the McClatchy company. So this has live news, puzzles in the app as well, but within the edition section, this is the new edition reader, and you can see that the same UI is consistent across this. The same features are supported in terms of puzzles, different article templates. This is actually on the template on the right here is the mobile version of that responsive column template that we were looking at before. So when you bring it down to a mobile view, it stacks the content in that way.
Great, thanks, Simon. And just before we get into the questions, a little, I guess, a teaser to our next webinar coming up in December, when we're going to talk about our kind of auto layout solution that we're developing, and we think we're really close to that. So really excited to talk about how we can create and lay out these digital version of either feed edition pages or actual print pages. We believe that's where we're going to get to. So if you're interested, please keep your eyes and ears open for that webinar that's coming. So yes, as I said, really excited about that. So great. I think we're going to move into the questions now. So we've got a few. So first question is about audio and text to speech. What integrations have we done or could we do? I guess is the flavour of that question.
Yeah, so we've got quite a lot of support for text to speech in the apps at the moment in terms of the development of a new audio player that we've got running in there. And we are in the process of scoping out how to build something similar into the web reader. So we'll be supporting basic text to speech, but we'll also be looking at options around things like integrations with Amazon Polly and what we could do in terms of potentially queuing audio, because we have that ability within the apps to do an audio queue or a playlist. So we're exploring what we can do with that, and it's a part of our roadmap to look at next.
Yeah, the audio edition is coming, guys. So we're really looking forward to that. Again, more news on that later on at the back end of this year. We've got a question, does this mean no apps? I think we've covered that. Yeah, we have our own inbuilt app. We'd like to, really focusing on a really strong web reader product, because we believe that's what makes, definitely makes us stand out in terms of, other vendors in the marketplace. But yeah, we also provide the SDK as well for this edition product, so you can integrate it with your own apps. So got another next question is, are there any options to embed the editions better than the current iframe way of doing things? I'm not sure if that's something we can answer. Josh, I don't know if that's...
We obviously need to know specifically about how that, someone would choose to do that. But obviously there are some cons of doing the iframe approach in terms of cookie setting on some browsers, but it's obviously something we can talk about, make sure things all work properly. We should be able to do things better than previously anyway.
Yeah, and certainly if you're embedding editions in an app, then obviously we recommend you use the SDK for that, rather than trying to iframe it into a web view.
And obviously we have, if it's for a website, we do have the URL masking options as well.
Great, thanks guys. What about search? What are we doing with search? Anything new there is a question that's being asked.
Yeah, so there are two updates to the archive page that are in the works at the moment. One of them is a date range picker, so that you can narrow down the date range of the editions that show on the archive page. And then the second update to that will be a text-based search. So you can search for any kind of keywords, and then it will return articles and pages that match those keywords that you've typed in.
Great, thanks, Simon. Obviously jumping around different kind of areas of the reader here, but it's great that people are asking all these questions. So on the article template, does the text reflow when a screen size changes?
Yes. So all the article templates are responsive. So as you bring in the screen size, and the text will reflow. If it's a multi-column article type, it will generate additional pages if you move to a smaller screen size, or fewer pages if you move to a larger screen size.
Great, thanks, Simon. Question here, we've moved away from a pop-up approach to story windows. Can story windows still support advertising and multimedia? I guess I'm not sure we feel we've moved away from them, but it's just a slightly different implementation.
So yeah, I think we showed video in the gallery view. So we can support multimedia in there. We can support advertising around the article page itself. And then, as we said, one of the things that we're working on now is extending the ad serve solutions, so that we'll be able to support advertising either within the columns of the text or within the paragraphs in between.
Yeah, but there'll be programmatic advertising, other bespoke advertising. And the message is, although we're trying to build a consistent product, which has obviously efficiency savings for our customers, if there are I guess custom article templates that that someone wanted to work with us on, we could do that as well. That's possible. Great, thank you. There's a question here. Are the video and photo trigger images on the PDF pages or on the article page?
So the ones that we showed there on the article pages. So that link to launch the gallery for the video or the images there on the article pages rather than the PDF pages.
Okay, great. Still questions flying in. I saw the Spanish publication. What other languages do you support?
So currently, I think we have support for French, Canadian, Spanish, and German. Josh, you might correct me.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and obviously we're looking to add a few more to that, but it's a lot quicker for us to generate those translations now. So that's something we can do. But also on top of that, if there's any sort of text within, that standard translation that we offer, you can obviously let us know which ones you need to have changed, and we can set some overrides for particular places in the reader. So, for example, if for English it says editions and you'd rather it say issues, that's something we can do. We're quite flexible on that front.
Yeah, and so we can support kind of a generic language translation, but also like a publisher-specific language translation as well. So if you're Spanish but you wanted Catalan, we could support that as well.
That's good to hear. Another question relating to video ads. Will the video ads run natively in the app?
Yes, so if they're pre-rolls or ads that are part of the video file that we receive, then yes, they'll run natively within the app video player.
I'd also add to that, if it's in reference to the like the video cover that we showed earlier as well, those pages will show up fine as well in the apps. They'll be in the flow of the edition.
Yeah, I mean, we've done various different integrations, I guess, with video providers, and we use all the native SDKs when we integrate with those. So hopefully that answers your question there. Someone's asked about some magazine examples. We can follow up. Might be nice to follow up with the list of attendees when we can talk about that, and we'll do that as a follow up. We don't have any as part of this preparation of this presentation, but we will certainly follow up on that.
Yeah, we could. I mean, so we have magazine examples, I guess, like these magazines and supplements that some of our newspaper publishers are including. So you can see how these work in exactly the same way as the newspaper in terms of rendering these PDF pages. So we can show you some more of that as well.
Yeah, if that was, maybe that question was related to, maybe it was related to PDF, or it could be some feed edition solutions, but that's kind of more of a, what would a magazine template potentially look like? Next question. If we only have puzzles as an HTML page, could we still add those to our replica edition? I think you said you can mix and match.
Yes, yeah, that's true. So if you just have a replica PDF edition, but you have an agreement with a puzzles provider who can give you responsive HTML puzzles, then we can include those as a section within that edition. So we can present all of the PDF pages for the paper and then a section of interactive puzzles at the end of that edition. And where we've done that for other publishers, we've seen really great engagement in terms of more time spent and more retention metrics in terms of people coming back and playing those puzzles, spending a lot of time in the edition. And that obviously gains advertising revenue because we can serve advertising around those puzzle solutions and the PDF pages.
Okay, great. There's a question here about costs and when is the new reader available? Just on the cost side, I think I'll cover that off. Our intention isn't to increase a license fee with this product. We see it as an upgrade. However, depending on your current implementation, there could be some migration fees. I can't say what, because some of you guys have some quite specific things with us, but as a general rule of thumb, obviously the more consistent and in line you are with the product, then obviously the lower those migration costs would be. But obviously we're not looking to increase license fees, but obviously in terms of professional services to make this thing happen, then there could be some charges. So we think that's fair and reasonable. And again, if you follow up with your account manager, then they'll be able to run through that with you. In terms of when, I mean, for this reader is available now. Again, it would have to be a discussion with your account manager about what next steps are, and then a kind of a timeline would come out of that. We can share links to this presentation as part of the follow-up. This webinar will be recorded as well, so you'll be able to view that. How long will the current reader continue to be supported? I think we're going to continue to support. I mean, there's no date where that we have published or we will announce at the moment where that's going to be. That technology will be switched off or anything like that. That's not the intention here. I think in an ideal world, we would like all our customers to end of 2025 to be on the new products, but probably more based on the fact that it's best in class rather than the switching other services off. Question here: would you be able to advise on how to migrate and manage reader feedback from experience with other customers? Maybe I can cover that one. I mean, this isn't brand. This is out in the marketplace. A few of our customers are on this already, so we've received quite a large volume of feedback on this already. The only other bit of advice that we might give is that you've got the opportunity, and we're happy to work with customers in terms of user groups, things like that, to give you the confidence that your audience is going to see this as a smooth transition. So that's the kind of things we can do. And I've got a similar question, I guess, just after that, how we might A/B test a rollout. Obviously, different configurations would be possible to provide 2 different versions of that if that's something you want to do. That would be a bit more bespoke, but you'll be able to speak to your account managers and they'll be able to walk you through that process. So a question here: you mentioned print ad integration with the new reader by placing print ads. Would that include the ability to add additional information, extract ads similar to how puzzles are, or could we send a feed of advertisers so the print ads are more actionable? I think the feed option is probably something that would work better in that. I don't know, Simon, if you got the gist of that question.
So I'm not sure I have, but if it's to do with making the ads actionable in terms of being able to click on those and go to an advertiser URL or something like that, that's all supported within the existing system. So when you upload an advert, you can upload a URL with that advert. That URL can include a tracking link, so you can see how many people have interacted with the advert, and then that can take you to the destination of an advertiser's website. But if I've got that wrong, then
I think that's answered it. Your answer was better than the way I asked it. Should we just say that? So, is there a toolkit that explains different advertising options? We may need to update our media kit. I think we will be supplying a new ad position doc. I think we have one for our previous reader. So yes, we will do that. Yep, more questions about languages.
I think there's one there about integration with identity systems for access control. So we didn't show that actually, but the new readers integrated with Auth0 for one of our clients. In fact, two of the live examples were Auth0, and I can't remember off the top of my head the third. I think it's a publisher built system, but essentially we can integrate with any identity system or access control system, some of which, like Auth0, we have done already, so it's going to be a lot simpler. But there's no reason why we wouldn't be able to do the same with all of the access systems that we've done previously.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. Good answer there. More questions. I think another one, the language is available. I think we're covered. Is the support for for other languages available to the end user, or must we specify the language ahead of time? I guess that's device setting led, I would imagine. But Josh, Simon, can you help answer that?
So we set the language within the reader depending on the language setting for the publication. So for the Spanish language example we saw there, that's Spanish for everyone. Obviously my device language isn't in Spanish, but so it's set at the publication level rather than at the device level for the user.
Yeah, we go this route particularly on web just because obviously the browser quite often, if it isn't your native language, it will sort of ask you to auto translate it. So there's sort of no point duplicating that. And then obviously a user publisher get control over what's being displayed.
Can you talk about any authentication gatekeeping updates? Are there any other methods besides referring URL? Well, I think, yes, there are. I think Simon's already touched on that. I think that would be a conversation with your account manager to talk through all those different options. But we integrate with a variety of different solutions out there to achieve that. Next question. It's great. There's so many. Would we program the video ads in the portal and be able to specify the physical or relative position between sections, for example? Can it be done before the automation runs for an edition? If that question is referring to those bespoke ad positions with the HTML pages, yes, it is. You can add them between sections. You can specify which sections they appear in, and you can. It's also completely independent of the PDF automation. So it's quite a flexible system there. I think that's where it gives that real level of control to the ad team, takes it away from the page production flow.
Yeah, we can support within a section, before or after a section, and also at a specific page number through the existing integration.
That's great. And the same, could this be done for a pair of facing PDFs, which I presume is double page or double truck? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
To that as well. There's a question about what the feedback's been like from users so far. I think feedback has been positive. Usage stats have increased for customers who have migrated onto this. So that's been really positive. I think we all know the audience. There's always a feedback as to when there's slight change in the UI. But again, that's something where you have to really focus on those user groups and make sure that everyone's comfortable with that that functionality does exist. And those helper screens are absolutely amazing now. We didn't get to show you a video one, but they're really, really powerful and can talk through end users, even if they're migrating from a PDF to a more responsive or more feed edition type product. I think they've been really helpful to customers to help with any migration.
Yeah, I think what we've seen with people who've migrated across is that there's initial noise around the change, and you would expect that. But the analytics behind it show that actually we've seen increasing metrics like retention, engagement, and page views with clients who've moved to the new reader version. And actually, once people get used to the changes, I mean, these aren't enormous changes that we're making. Obviously, they're small changes, but they're a big change for a certain user group. But I think once they realize they've got more control over their experience themselves, and once they realize that the edition loads faster, it's quicker to render, there are more engaging features within it. You see that in the underlying data of the analytics.
Yeah, and you've hit the nail on the head there. The particularly like the puzzles and things like that have increased engagement dramatically within this product. So I think you have to look at the benefits versus that noise if you were to migrate, and also we can limit that noise as well. And I think I've got another question, a similar kind of thing about how do we handle that migration and disorientating customers. Again, I think we kind of covered that. So yeah, and I think that's got to the end of our questions. So if there's any questions that we haven't answered, and we come to, what I should say is we come to the top of the hour, so it's time for us to close this one down. But if there's any questions we haven't answered, we can reach out to you directly afterwards. Thank you so much for joining us today. And any questions, just please follow the instructions that Simon gave. Or I think there's another slide, Simon, with you can always reach out to hello@paysuite.com if you are not a customer of PaySuite, or you just want to direct any questions to that email address. So
Yeah,
thank you so much.
We'll be sending the slides and the recording, not just to everyone who joined the webinar, but everyone who registered as well. So I think if you've got colleagues who registered but weren't able to join, they'll get a copy of the slides and the recording as well.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you joining the PaySuite, and hopefully see you at the next one.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See you, everyone.